Hello and welcome back to my channel. And today, what I'm going to discuss is the story from your treasure trove, that is the Blue Bead. So, the Blue Bead, I don't have the text book with me, but I'm going to read from the PDF. And it being very long, I'm going to talk about the main paragraphs and the keywords in this story. So, the Blue Bead, as it is, it's a story about a girl, Sibia. First of all, the author of this story is Norah Burk. She was a British born and raised in India, and the story belongs to the forest area of India towards West Bengal, where there are very, heavy forest ranges. And it's about a tribal girl, Sibia, who is almost 12 years of age. But as it is the poverty in India, people living below poverty line. So she's also living in a very state of poorness and poverty. And she is in a tribal village in the forest where the life, as it is, we know that the life of the tribal people is totally dependent on the forests. All right, so here it is, and how these people live their life in the bare minimum facilities around them. So Sibia is the main character of our story, and Sibia lives in the forest. She works with the mother, and she is like a child woman. That is what the author talks about her in the story. The question often comes, why is Sibia called a child woman? Because right from the time that she was born, she has been toiling. Toiling means working hard, right from taking care of her siblings, cooking in the family, household chores. She also used to accompany her mother to cut grass. All right, so she almost behaved like a grown up woman. Rarely do we see, or the author has talked about Sibia playing with other children, enjoying her childhood. The only way that Sibia could enjoy herself was, if you remember in the story, the author talks about Sibia making, pots and pans out of clay, and then hiding them in a small cave near the river. And off and on, she used to go and visit the cave just to see that the pots and pans are safe, and she would imagine coloring them and beautifying them. She also had the urge to wear necklaces made out of the lal beach, the red seeds found in the forest. Look at the poverty. Look at the kind of struggle that these people had in the village. They didn't even have, minimum money to buy any kind of accessories for themselves. The women of this tribe used to wear necklaces made out of those red seeds, the lal beach that the author talks about. They used a needle to pierce into the hard seeds and string them into a necklace. And our hearts go out to Sibia when the author writes that Sibia couldn't even make that necklace because the needle that was there in the family was broken, and she couldn't even afford to get a new needle for herself. So the only desire that she had was to get that blue bead, which was actually the round neck of a glass bottle, which had broken and fallen into the river. And because of the refraction from the sunlight, it used to shine quite blue in the blue water of the river. Hence, for Sibia, it was a blue bead. And that was her intense desire, that somehow she wanted that blue bead, right? So that is what the story about. Sibia lives near the forest is, near the river, where the river is actually there is occupied by reptiles, mainly the crocodiles, the alligators, etc. And that is what the author talks about, as it is in the keyword antediluvian saurian, antediluvian saurian. This is a keyword that the author has given a term to the reptiles, that is the crocodiles. So antediluvian saurian means prehistoric, prehistoric, and saurians are reptiles. In other words, antediluvian is also referred to the borders on the reptile. If you see, the reptile has got a green hard shell kind of a border on the top, and then this is yellow. Below the neck and shoulders, everything is yellow, and that is the most vulnerable part of the crocodile. That is also explained by the author, that the eyes and the skin below the neck and shoulders is the most vulnerable part of the crocodile. And this is what we get to know further in the story when Sylvia tries to save the Gujar woman, right? So the other animals that you can find in the rivers, apart from are ducks, then frogs, and fishes that are there in the river. So the crocodiles, they bask in the sun on the sands of the river, and sometimes they also sit on the logs, the timber logs that that are cut from the forest, and then they are floated down the river, because it is very difficult to carry them down from the hill in a vehicle or by men on the shoulders. It's not easy. So the easiest way that they can bring them down is to let them float in the river. So so these logs, which are actually collected on the banks of the river, that is the place where these crocodiles, they rest. And then the author also talks about that it is not that Sylvia is living in the forest, so she has not seen the world outside. The author also talks about it that Sylvia has visited the bazaar with her parents around the, which is on the side of the rail track. She has seen the crowd, the smelly people smoking cigarettes, eating betel nuts. And, she has seen in the bazaar the man selling accessories, bangles, earrings. And like any other young girl, she's attracted to it. But then she doesn't have that kind of a greed to buy those things, and she's very much satisfied with what she has. Then she also sees the sweet shops where the fragrance of the sweets, are almost overpowering the air around, and flies are all over the sweets. She only stands and watches the colorful sweets. She doesn't feel greedy to even beg for the sweets. And what does she eat in her daily life? That also the author has told us, that she doesn't even get to eat proper food. She puts rancid chutney over the roti, over the chapati, and some chilies, and she eats it. Rancid means rotten chutney. Rotten in the sense that she doesn't even make fresh chutney. Whatever is left over, that is the chutney that she applies, and some chilies, and eats. And even when she has a desire for eating sweet, she eats a bit of honey or the sugar cane, the sweetness of the sugar cane. That is all the sweetness that she knows in her life. And she has seen the Kashmiri merchants selling fine clothes. She has seen clothes which come in the shop with the brand and the tag on them of different materials, And what is she wearing? She wears a sari which is torn rag. Half of it is covering her lower part and half the upper part of the body. That's it. She doesn't even have proper clothes to wear. So she knows what the world is all about. She knows how good the world is, how beautiful things are available in the world. But then she doesn't have a desire for all those things. What she's desiring is just the blue bead, right? And the Kashmiri merchants that go around, going to the rich people's house, selling turquoise, opals, beautiful saris, shawls, dawn-colored, pashmina shawls, which are the trademark of Kashmir. So she even knows that, everything around the world. She's a small girl. It's not that she doesn't know what's going around the world and how beautiful the world is, and what fineries and what material, material, beautiful clothes and good food is available in the world. But she is not at all greedy. She's content within herself with whatever she has. Her only desires are very basic, like any other girl. She wants to decorate herself. She wants to wear accessories. She wants to wear a necklace of those red beads. red seeds. And then she also has seen the Gujar women, the Gujar camps. Who are these Gujars? Gujars are nomadic people. Nomadic people are those who travel from one place to another. They do not settle permanently. So they are people who actually survive on cattle. They have herds and cattle, and they settle in a place where they get meadows for their cattle. So when they can sell the products, dairy products that they get from the cattle in the villages and cities around. All right. So when these products are sold off, or when the grazing is over, then they shift from that place to another place. And they also sell cattle to people who need them like a bait to catch tigers. Bait is like, uh, you must have seen, like, if they want to catch a tiger, they'll tie a small calf to a tree, and the tiger, and they'll hide somewhere, and the tiger will see the calf, and it will come running to eat the calf, and there's a net, and he falls into the net and is trapped. So that is what they do for a living. So they have a camp, and the Gujar women, they store their jewelry and everything in pots, silver pots. That also she knows. And they wear, tight churidars with anklets and bangles, silver bangles, and they have brass pots which they carry to the river to, bring water back to their camp. So here there is a major incident that happens. So as it is, we know that Sibia goes along with her mother and other women from her tribe to cut grass, which they sell off to the agent, who sits on a very comfortable place on a carpet with cushions around him. And he pays them meager money for that, and he makes a lot of profit by selling that grass. Sibia knows that. Sibia knows that this man is actually exploiting them, but then she doesn't mind working hard for that, and she's okay with it. So she even, small girl carrying the pack of grass on her back with the sickle here, it irritates her, but then, she is used to it. And while coming back with her mother, she used to somehow, waver from the path, and because she wanted to go and see the clay pots which she has made. That is all the pleasure she has in her life as a child. So on one of these days when she was coming back, she again sways on the path, and she goes down the river to, she was there going to check upon the clay pots, but then she sees this Gujar woman. And as this Gujar woman tries to get in the middle of the river so that she could get clean water to fill in a pot, the crocodile lunges upon her, holds her leg in his mouth, and obviously she's wounded. There is blood all around. She tries to save herself by holding on a stone and recoiling, pushing away. But the more she tries to push away, the more the crocodile pulls her into the river, and Sibia sees it. So without a second thought, without thinking about her own life, Sibia jumps onto the, into the river and tries to pull the Gujar woman. And she takes out a sickle, and she knows where to aim. So as the author, if you remember, has told in the beginning of the chapter, that the most vulnerable part of the crocodile was between the eyes and the neck, that yellow part, and she takes an aim at the eyes and hurls the sickle towards the crocodile, and the crocodile suddenly is hurt in his eye, and he leaves the leg of the Gujar woman and hides underwater. Now it is not known whether he dies or he doesn't, because when it will only be known after 2 days. Because as you know, when the body underwater fills up with gas, then the dead body rises above the water. So it only happens after a day or two. So right now it cannot be explained whether the crocodile is dead or not. It will only be evident after 2 days. And then, as Sibia, kills the crocodile, she finds the blue bead, that is the bottle of the neck of the bottle, near that stone. And she is the happiest in the world. She feels as if, she's won a trophy. She goes home. She tells her mother what has happened in the entire day. But what she is actually happy about is telling her mother about the blue bead, which she can now put into a string and she can put it around her neck. So what is it the chapter telling us about? That first of all, anything that we intensely desire, God gives it to us, no matter how small a big thing is. But then, when we desire something, that desire is above everything else in the world. Like in this lesson, we have seen that she has seen the fineries of the world. She has seen how nice jewelries these Gujar women have. She could have asked the Gujar woman very nicely for that, jewelry. She could have said, I've saved your life. Can you give me money? Can you give me silver anklets that you wear or bracelets? Nothing. She doesn't ask any one of them. She carries the Gujar woman back to the camp where the people take care of her. And she just goes home all satisfied, happy, content with that blue bead in her hand, right? So it shows that Sibia is a very strong girl. She's a brave woman and she's happy with everything in life. She's not greedy. She doesn't have any kind of even regret about the kind of life that she's leading. She doesn't cry, oh God, how poor am I? Oh God, what kind of life have I? I have no childhood. My parents don't have money. Nothing. So the blue bead is the center of her life. The blue bead is her intense desire. All right. So that it's any questions you have, you can put it in the comment box. And in my another episode, I'll try to answer all your questions.